it matters and it doesn't matter at the same time. Women, but we are nothing without you. So you guys is tunzi. So it might sound so bad, or I don't know how to actually explain this, but some things they just need our women to be stronger and take away this word oppressive, operate, be stronger, young told. I don't know how to put it, but be stronger and keep the culture, because the culture is ezandleni zabantu besifazane mostly, and the power is in your hands. Thank you very much.
Thokoza, Baba, Thokoza. I like how you laughed there towards the end. I'm sure, of course, as you know, your opinion may trigger a
I
few of
wanted
the
to buzz in there a
females.
little bit.
Yeah, it may trigger a few of the females that we have in this space. But I mean, as I say to everyone, respectfully, I am always open to hearing everyone's opinions, and I appreciate your confidence to share with us as well. So thank you for that. Thank you for speaking up and speaking on your truth as you see it as well. So Thokoza, I appreciate that. All right, Doc, should we go to you? I'd like to audaciously and boldly request that we not take it on for too long. However, I do, of course, appreciate, respect, acknowledge, and really am honored to hear what you'd like to share with us.
Thank you very much. That means I tend to go too long. So, but it's because of the topics are too hard, and I spoke in length at the beginning, so I'm not going to speak too long now. But I also want to greet everyone who's here, joined a little bit later or after we crashed. Dipuo has spoken quite well about the process ya Twasa. And I think maybe because Gemopedi, so she understands from that angle also. Because Kaspedi Ratwasisha Kadidor, so we don't have a process. So Harna system, Harna one, then next, and two, and all those kind of things. So it's all about the door. If for Olorale Shaka, then we know this time and all those kind of things. So it is. But now sometimes we also need to understand that Babangba Badimbabona, they are very slow. Very slowly. They have dreamt initially, but they're starting to come slowly. So in that process, you also want to help some system that works. And we've seen the systems work. I think at one stage, by 6. And I told them, each one of them, say, I can never, guys, because you are so different. Because Matlozi Abona had taken over and changed it completely. You could see each one was going their own route, and I think that's what Dipu was talking about, to say we must not bound ourselves. I also just want to come. I think there's been a lot of outcry. I think I've spoken about some of a bit of oppression in my opening, but I want to also come back now to say the outcry about oppression. I think maybe we also don't understand the power dynamics, and to bring the power dynamics, because if you look at that faction is done, the war is done, we have won. So the whole key of war is to capture the leader, to behead the leader, and then we have the head that we got to walk around with it. And why is because also into some nations that are still ruled by kings and queens see that the leaders are not necessarily the people. They're not the people who you see. They would be, if you go into Saudi Arabia, you would see that the king or the prince would always be the last ones to come in. The guys that are coming there, chest out, stomach in, chin up, and all those kind of things, and zipa, they're not necessarily their leaders. And why am I saying that? It's because I hear this outcry that women are maybe not leaders, or women are not taking their rightful positions, and all those kind of things. I think that is not correct, according to my understanding. Women have always been leaders. If you look at married men are so scared of their wives. If you want to, and I was talking to Mama Kosike the other time, and we said, if you want to terrorize a man, make him choose between his wife and his mother. You would start seeing how terrified he is, you know. If a man is with the guys and the woman said he must come back before 11 or 12, you see him looking at the watch every single minute. And before that time, he will leave because he is being led. And there's so many decisions. Men cannot even properly take a full decision on their own. They will always consult with the woman. So women are the ones that are leading. The difficulty, and what people don't see, is that many of them lead from behind the scenes. So what you see, which we would call the centuries, the centuries are men are but let's look at the centuries, meaning the warriors, but the leaders and the proper people are behind the scenes, and those are women. So I also want to go back into, because I've had many people talk about the Bible, so I also just want to talk about the Bible a little bit and the women in the Bible, because someone said in the Bible there aren't many women. That said, I think about 4 or 5 women that were powerful. And also that might not be entirely true, because from the beginning of the Bible, firstly, I'm going to say the Bible. People tend to think the Bible is the Word of God. It's very debatable. A Bible is an account of actions between the people and God at the time, not necessarily a fully word of God. So it's an account of what's happening at the time, the engagement of God and the people. But what you also see is that the Bible is not one book that we're looking at and saying, oh no, this is a holy book. Because you have the Torah in the Bible, which is the Old Testament. Of course, what you don't have is the Quran, but then you have so much Bible that is in Talmud, and it's not part of the written word. And that Talmud, which is not the written word, that's what we call the God's word, not necessarily the Bible itself, because you have the 5 books, which is the law, and then you have the other books, which is activities of what was happening. The 4 books, which is the biography, and then you have the other books, which are the letters, advisory letters and all those kind of things. So we can't look at the Bible as we're looking at one thing that consistently came through and all the way. So we have to be careful there. But let's go back into the Bible and the women. The women in the Bible have always been so powerful from the beginning of time. If you look at Eve, she was so powerful that she convinced Adam. She practically led Adam to eating the apple. That's Eve. If you look at Abraham was promised by God a spiritual son, but Sarah was so powerful that she convinced him to go and have a physical son. You know, you look at Hajira or Hagar, who was the mother of Ismail or Ishmael, and she was so powerful that she took Ismail with herself, herself, and raised what today you would call almost the whole Islamic nation, because Abraham didn't have an effect in raising Ismail. And you look at that whole Babylon, Palestine, Iraq, and Mesopotamia, and all those kind of things. Those were coming from as a nation that were raised by Hajira, or as you call Hagar. And you look at, just forgot her name, but the daughter-in-law of Judah, who then gave birth to the whole Lokola Judah that today we're praising, or many people praising. She was so powerful that she took a decision herself to go and trick the father-in-law such that her husband, her deceased husband, can have bana, can have something, barking a legacy. And that's power for me. You go and look at King Solomon. That was the wisest man possible ever born. But Queen of Sheba was so powerful that she stood her ground in such a way that she said her son is not just going to be a commoner. Her son is going to be a king. And because her son is going to be a king, she cannot stay in Israel. She cannot stay with Solomon. And she left. And Solomon was so disturbed that after that, he started doing all funny stuff. So I'm not sure when we're saying women were weak in the Bible or were not, they were oppressed and things like that. I'm actually not sure where exactly, because if you look at, you can go into Ruth, Esther, and everyone, you can see how powerful women have been. Even the Bethesda herself, when she was not the mother, the king's mother, but she made sure that her son, which is Solomon, became the king. Which basically twisted the king, which was David at the time. So it is. I don't understand this narrative that we're saying women were weak. And I spoke earlier on about the processes of violence that we have seen. And for me, the oppression comes from there, which is where men were able to match the power and the intellect and the strength of women, that many of us resorted to muscle power. We resorted to controlling through a stick, and all those kind of things. And that was because it's a foreign culture that we've learned when we were colonized by the Europeans. So we need to understand that African women have never been oppressed before the colonization. The oppression came through violence, and the violence we learned through the process of colonization, and when everything of us was stolen from us, as I said earlier on. I'm not going to mention all those kind of things. So that's the important portion I wanted to say. I want to come back into, I think this is the last point, I want to come back into the traditional healing. Yes, I think Abram, Baba, the guy from THP, were together. He spoke about the Witchcraft Suppression Act of 1957, Act number 3. And we need to also understand that it affected women the most, because men were all in the mines. They were all, they've gone to work. And people who were left practicing culturally and teaching the kids and all those kind of things mostly were women. And women were the ones who were carrying the burden of persecutions of this act. Even the act of 1865 that was done in Berlin for the whole of Africa. Women were the ones who were carrying this. Men were in war. Men were in working and all those kind of things. But women had to carry the culture, had to make sure that their homes, the children understood how we do things. And that's why we have this thing, because it is women who are carrying the culture through their womb, but also through the deliverance to the next generation. And because of that's why it seems as if women were oppressed. Yes, they were persecuted. And many of the healers and many of the people that practice were women. Even today, you'd find that out of 10, there could be 2 men that are practicing and 8 women that are practicing and are carrying, basically are carrying the whole bungaka on their shoulders. And it is hard. And I know I said this is my part, but I need the last one, please. The last one is when we go to war. I've seen many wars in Africa through the rebels and all those kind of things. I was in DRC when we were doing the Inga Dam some years back. And the only way to psychologically destroy the nation, when the war happens, you would see that eventually they will have to rape women and girls in front of their men. Because if you do that, you have killed the whole nation. You have destroyed it. There's nothing that can be planted there anymore. Let me cut it here until further notice.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mpo, for that wonderful narrative. I've got a question though that I want to pose. You spoke about so many women that are great in the Bible, but we only got 2 books which are worthy, of being read in the Bible, which is the Ruth and Esther. What happened to Judith? Why such books are not spoken of? Book of Solomon, he wrote love letters to women, and some of the names are not even mentioned, and such scriptures are not even read or delivered in church sermons. We need to look at those. Why is the Bible always focusing on how great men are? I'm sorry, but I'm not against religion, but I'm against how women are perceived. It's said, Wuti, our mothers, our sisters are so powerful. They can lead nations, but they're not given the role, or they're not given the platform to lead. Why can't we look at this in a broader way? And I did ask this question earlier. Why is it hard for traditional churches to let go of leadership and giving it to women? What would be wrong in Shembe being led by women? I know maybe Shembe, everyone's like, Angeke is part of Mfaz. Why not? Why can't churches like your ZCCs, Lakhanyan, what would be wrong being led by women? Why can't we just look at this in a broader way and say that it is time for men to step back? Why can't we have a woman president, a young woman that would lead South Africa? Yes, they say Africa is a woman, but we are still led by men. Majority of presidents in Africa are men. What happened to gender equality? I need to you speak of take girl child to work day, but you're not taking the girl child to leadership roles. It's a week of just sitting in the office and typing and doing whatever it is. Why can't a woman plaster a house? Why can't a woman weigh weights? Why can't she, be a gym instructor to men and be free without being sexualized or given gawking eyes for men? Why can't, women wear whatever they want? Even in Islam, I've got a problem that a woman has to wear a veil and cover her face, but a man is free to walk around and look at it. Every woman out there. End of the day, the woman has to come back to. Why can't women be seen as a powerful force other than objects? I don't know if Miss Anderson wants to go first, and then Sis Nompumelelo and Sis Lubigas.
Hi all.
Thank you so much to my co-host. I apologize. Sorry for that, Miss Anderson, for cutting you off there. Sorry, I just wanted to say I appreciate what Doc has said now, because it brings in so much of the context that we see from the Bible, and it brings into sort of practicality what we are faced with in a theoretical way, and you have a great way of explaining that, so thank you for that. I do apologize. Before I give the space open for Miss Anderson as well as Unompumelelo, okay, I see she's no longer now a speaker. Okay, I had a request from Sesidipuo to say something before the other hands went up. So I would have appreciated to give her the opportunity. Okay, but I see she may have network issues currently. So Ms. Anderson, you're welcome to go ahead while we wait for Sesidipuo.
Hi, I'm from Canada. I'm Anishinaabe. My name is Mano Gishe Gishiko Kenso Kamiko Kadishna Kozwajashk. I just wanted to say that traditionally in our spirituality, and I need to clarify that it's not a religion, that my relationship is traditional, indigenous, or First Nations, and Christian self relationship with my Lord and Savior, God the Son, the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Spirit, the triune God. I just wanted to say too, I wanted to say that our traditional women are not oppressed. I think a lot of people like to say that they are, and yes, they are silenced often by men and often by leadership. Traditionally, our elders, I'm an elder by the way, so we are the wisdom keepers, and we watch being mothers. We have the gift of bringing children into the world, but we also have the gift to watch how our child girl and child man or boy grow up, and we recognize the leaderships in them, and that behind every leader who is a man is a matriarch, and he is endowed by the women to have that role. I believe that in the Bible too, they speak of Judith, but most importantly, Mary Magdalene, sorry, and she was a disciple of Jesus. So, and she had a powerful voice. This is the thing is that we just need to not believe in our spirituality so strong that it rises up and comes out in truth and wisdom, and that we are not oppressed. People want to say that we are, but we are not. I hope that that makes sense. I tried to clarify it the best I could, and if you have any questions, like, go ahead, and that's all I have to say about that. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing your views and for joining us from Canada. I appreciate your openness and your honesty about your opinion around the topic. And yes, I'm sure we'll have a few question or two here and there, so we'll take it as it comes. Sesidipuo, you're welcome to go ahead. I know you were next, and then we'll give the floor to Nompumelelo.
Thank you so much. Welcome to everybody who just joined us. Dumelang Baholo again. So oppression, I think, I think it's the oppression that Gitu, you welcome to correct me. The oppression that you were alluding to is the subjectiveness. It's like when you enter, the first thing that you will be perceived as a woman, and in your womanly role of nurturing, of taking care of, and thus even you'll find that you are assigned tasks. If there is assigned to a man and a woman at the same time, you will find that gender comes into play, where the woman is expected because of her gender as a woman to then be the cleaner, the cook, the versus the rest, the other Twasa. And maybe that comes across as oppression. But I liked how Dr. Mpo was talking about the leadership, the silent leadership, the silent power of women. I'm also Bavenda. And in Bavenda culture, women are quiet. You see us kneeling there, lying there in public. But I can tell you, Hore, agona khoshi, agona anybody who takes any decision without the Makatsi having spoken. Yeah, the women speak, the men are the face of, and the women are the decision makers the ones who need to give the final bow. Even in our silence, there is power. And just maybe at the same time, we need to acknowledge, Hore, women are also gatekeepers of that word, Gitu, that you didn't want to speak of, patriarchy. Yeah, the women will be the first ones that will say to you in a church setting, and I'm going to go to the church setting because a lot of you understand church much more. Whoever, these church leaders that they are there, you will be subjugated as a woman to womanly roles, irrespective of your gift of prophecy or irrespective of your gift of leadership. You will have to prove yourself, and as women try to prove themselves, you will be called, and the defamation of that woman will be by other women more than the men. Let's be honest, Basadi, most of the oppressions that we feel are carried out. The gatekeepers are women. For some reason, we are really gatekeepers of things we have no business gatekeeping. If you look even within politics, I mean, we have THO, THP in the house right now. Ne? They will tell you 80% of their membership is probably women. Just like in any church, 80% by default of any church is women. Why is it that the women who have the democracy of the vote do not vote women leaders into power? Yeah, because we also are the ones ourselves in vulnerable positions. We are the ones that even custodians of the temples, of the religions, and everything else that was spiritual. We speak about goddesses back in the past, but when we then had to go into childbirth, when we are weaker because we are pregnant, carrying life, the men normally take over. And ever since the men took over when we became pregnant, we have never been able to recover and go back into being the face of. But it does not necessarily always fall onto the men. We as women need to ask ourselves, why is it that we are the ones that will never, I always say it, start with the politics. You will look at it. Tell me any political party. The women are the ones who are at grassroots level, the majority. We are the majority, even if you look at in terms of population growth and everything else, women are the majority. But for some reason, we are the ones who will then appoint these men as leaders. And rightfully so, because men are born stronger than us. But your silence does not mean weakness. And shouldn't be weakness and shouldn't be taken as weakness. You need to be able to know when it is the time for you to speak to be spoken, not to speak to just make up the numbers. Because somewhere along the lines, we also lose it as women. We are comfortable with being the +1, the +2, but that is not where we need to be. And sometimes even our silence, I don't know if you've ever been punished by somebody that you respect and you love, and their punishment is silence. It's the worst form of punishment that you'll ever endure as a human being. Moto anrutu, silence. You talk, they don't respond, they don't do anything. Women in our silence, we are very strong. We might not be the ones who are. You see, the problem when my odwa, is the problem with, for instance, if you look at the Bible was written as a book of power. The men were the writers, and there was a political conspiracy behind it. The books that are of women are often part of the lost books of the Bible. Yeah, the women were not seen. And I always say, when people say, but you see, there is no women in the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Kero, what do you think the Holy Spirit, if it manifested now, who would it come as? Because that Holy Spirit will come as the mother who bore the Son with the Father. So also our understanding and how we define and what we answer to as women is very important. I always say culture evolves, Baholo. I might not be the one offering the vote of thanks as a woman, but I will make sure when that vote of thanks is being spoken, I have given the instruction as to who needs to come back to the village, to the house to eat, and who cannot come to the house to eat. So I might not be the face of, but trust you me, the words that will be spoken, that person is PR. I will make sure I will say what needs to be said on behalf of the family. And we as women must take the mantle and stop waiting for men to empower us. Makushisha, hele kena mo di-spacing bagolo, kenang le boleleng. Kenang le boleleng so that the other women who are there are empowered and don't feel oppressed, because go thata bagolo go tsena mo ileng gore go na le banna gona. It is who we are in our divine feminine that we can't just always, you don't budge in as a woman. We understand. So we carry the duality of knowing when is it the right time and what needs to be said. We don't want to always just howl. We want to be heard and not to be taken for granted, and not gore bare basadi ba thomile ba dio bolela fela. No, that's not what we want. If this representation is gonna matter, it must come with the equality, but that equality must not try to assimilate us to make us men. I mean, I don't want to be a man. I want to submit to my man in my house. Yeah, that submission is not a point of weakness or oppression. You understand? It is a point of power for me. And somewhere along the line, sometimes we lose focus in terms of what is and what isn't. But we are the ones that are, at the end of the day, should say, this is my voice. This is the words that I'm going to speak and proclaim and manifest. Because without a woman, Barolo, I get at the end of the day, the women are strategic enough, and we are powerful enough, and we are supposed to not try and outdo each other. Where you are weak, let me be strong. Where you are strong, let me be weak, so that somebody must rest when somebody is awake. There has to be that duality. There has to be that reciprocity that is required. And what we ask mostly of our men in public spaces and in private spaces is afford us the ability to say, I can speak. Because sometimes your energy is so huge, so gigantic, that it kind of suppresses us by default of you just showing up because you are masculine. You are huge. You are gigantic. It is the nature of being a man. You are supposed to protect. And we are supposed to nurture. The two go hand in hand. Let's not have a power struggle, Baholo, and let's not take what religion taught us, what culture that refused to evolve taught us. Let us look in terms of together we are stronger than you can be apart. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm not even going to go there because this topic is quite hot and we're on a roll. So let's just keep rolling. As the wheel rolls, we'll roll too. Sis Nompumelelo, let me go to you. Umkhulu Abram was next before he got disconnected, but if he does continue to have network issues, we'll go to Umkhulu Sipiwe. But Nompumelelo, my sister, you're welcome to go first.
Thank you very much to Sister Dibu. I know your points, they are hot, they are hot, they are hot. You are making a lot of sense. And I think you're really enriching us with your views. Yeah, let me start. I'm responding now to what I heard from the good doctor, Dr. Mpo Malaiki, and it made me to stand and say, hey, let me give my view. So the individual who had first mentioned that there in the Bible is a number of great women, that being the key word great, is one that you can count on the fingers of a single hand. Yes, indeed. We have heard from the good doctor. There have been a number of women who had power, who had influence, who had a great deal of persuasiveness. Yet how many had standing in positions of loud leadership? Sister Dipo spoke to women having silent leadership within our religious structures, within our societal structures, within our structures, even when it comes to spirituality. And my question goes, why do we as women accept that this is our position, that we are to lead from the shadows? Many have spoken to how women cannot say we are oppressed because they actually have a say in how they are viewed, and where they are standing within the religious structures, within the structures of spirituality. You know, speak when necessary. Another powerful point made by Sister Dipo, saying perhaps this is the reason why women are silent leaders, because we don't want to be those who just say whatever, and then it's women's reputation now that abantu besifazane, when you put them in positions of leadership, they say whatever nonsense comes to their minds. Speak when necessary. This is a piece of advice that we're given even within the Bible. I'm paraphrasing it now, but I believe in the book of Proverbs, we are given this statement: speak only when necessary, as a piece of advice to live by. This piece of advice is given to all. It's not just given to women, you know? Our religious leaders and leaders of spirituality, being mostly men, speak a great deal of nonsense, man. You know? A lot of them speak a great deal of nonsense, having advice or no advice from a woman who is leading from behind the scenes, you know? So why is it that we as women, we must be silent, you know? I think, in fact, there's there's nothing wrong with women, you know, from time to time being known for saying whatever is on their mind, you know. For a lot of people, I think it can sound like a great deal of nonsense, you know, in the same way that I'm able to say that some of our religious leaders, the things that come out of their mouths are a great deal of nonsense, you know. But those people are not affected by the fact that Nango Nompumelelo on the Twitter space said, ha ha ha, some religious leaders, when they speak, they say things that don't make sense. So why would it be an issue for women when given an opportunity to lead loudly in positions of high standing? You know, why would it be a problem for us to speak what's on our minds, and it be said in response, Uguti, I Maranalo Muntu is speaking a great deal of nonsense? Because we are able to make that same what can I say? We are able to come to that same conclusion where, with regards to men. You know, I don't think that as women, an insult that is given to men cannot apply to us as well. I don't think it's a problem. I don't think that's it's an issue. But I've lost myself. Okay, but going back to the initial point I was making about great women in the Bible. As I said before, there are many who had power, who had influence, who had persuasiveness, yet few had high standing, not on the basis of being given or allowed by a man to stand in high stand, to be in that position of high standing. Very few women stood on their own as leaders within our faith and religion, or perhaps let me speak on my own my own terms, because not all of us within this, what you call it, within this space believe in that which is being taught in the Bible. And this thing is problematic, you know, because it spills out within it spills out into how we as women are treated then within these spaces of religion and yeah, you know, Koguti, men believe that it is indeed in their hands to give us the power or the standing or the position of leadership that we ourselves, for whatever reason, would have had to be given from the very onset of the creation of the earth in God's plan. Yeah, I think that's what I was trying to say. But yes, I hope I hope it came together. Yes.
Yes, thank you so much. Your points were succinct and they made a lot of sense. 100%. Thank you so much. I think in the sense of just trying to keep the momentum, let's keep it going. I will go to you, Mkulunguni. Are you there? Mkulu Abraham, is your network
Can I
allowing
have
you?
5 seconds before Mkulu Abraham?
Of course, Chef.
You know, I've been listening throughout the session today. Sorry, Mkulu kancane nje. I've been having a quiet session today, listening to everybody speak. Odwa, the only thing that I picked up that you asked about why is women being pushed down, why is women being looked over, why is women being done this? The only answer I had is fear. I think it's because most men fear that when women come up, we stand no ground to actually overtake them. And I didn't want to say this as well, but I also see how slightly the internet, the music, the everything else that's existing around women is actually selling a certain narrative that kind of also belittles the position of women as a superior, and then it creates doubt. So with doubt, will we see women as who we should see them as? I was raised by a mother, so I know no better love than being, getting from a woman. And I always feel as if women, if they were like all our mothers here, probably the world would be changing better daily, every minute, every second. But as well, I will always say fear creates a lot of negative, movement around women. That's it. Kamakwini Chokozani. I'm out now. Yeah, bon.
Togoza, thank you so
Mkulu
much for that,
Abrams.
Mkulu. Yes, I see. Oof. Okay, I see. Oh, Abraham has lost connection again. Yeah, he's really struggling on his side. Piwe, yes, I believe we can go over to you, and then Oslubi, if you don't mind, we'll go through to you afterwards as well. Kulu Sipiwe, are you there? Is your network allowing you? All right. It seems he's not hearing us right now. Sis Louis, we can go over to you, my dear.
Thank you so much. Hi, everybody. Togozani, Kamaku. I've been reading the topic and listening to most speakers were contributing. I actually like what Dr. Paul referenced to, the powerful women in the Bible. And besides the women in the Bible, we also have women that were fighters, were warriors, like Ulozgei Lodlo during the Anglo-Matebele War in 1893. The thing is, I can't really say that women are oppressed, because the question is, who is oppressing women? If I would say yes, women are oppressed, it's both us women and also who? The men. Because when you come to think of it, all these great women that are in the Bible, none of them wrote their story. Because who is telling our story? When I do something amazing or I'm in church leadership, who is out there to toot my horn or to go out and represent me? The Bible was written by men. Of course, they'll write about themselves and leave the women out. So in this generation, I actually like the fact that we are talking about this. And then when you look at the spiritual aspect of, the role of women spiritually, most women when we are looked at, we're referenced as abatagati. Right now, most witches are women. Okay, this woman is a witch, this woman is a witch. And yet there are men who are also abatagatayo. But nobody talks about it. So who is telling our story as women? And who is oppressing us? And this doesn't affect us as traditional African women. It's a global thing. In the United States, I remember during the last election, not this one, where we had Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton was fit to be president, but most women did not vote for her because we don't look up to women as great leaders. So us women, we are our own enemies as well. We don't support each other. So hence the men will not toot our horn because we are the ones who are not even supporting each other. A woman in leadership is oppressed by other women, is not supported by other women. And a woman is called a witch by other women in the society. A man who is a nyanga, people look up to them with, oh, isangoma, and they get respect. Women, we don't get respect. We can have omkhulu sihamba namakhehla sinje. No one will respect me. But if I was a man, I would get so much respect in the society. So we are not tooting our own horn. And you look at the disenfranchisement of women in churches. You have the majority are women, but who are the church elders? It's the men. A man will be made a church elder quicker than a woman, even when he's not fit spiritually, even when his walk with the Lord is not even good. But a man gets the recognition. So women are oppressed, and we are oppressing each other as women, and also men are oppressing us as well. So it's time for ladies to stand up. Let's toot our horn. Let's tell the world who we are. Let's write about our successful people like Olozge Lolo. Let's not wait for somebody else to tell our story. We are powerful. Most of these homes are run by women. In America here, most women in leadership positions, even at work, are underpaid. I know you may think that it's a African thing that women are oppressed. Women are oppressed worldwide. Women are not paid the same amount at work for the same job that a man does. A woman is paid less. So I think it's time to rise up. Let's tell our story, and let's take up our leadership and be recognized by us women first. Then the men will follow suit. That's all I wanted to share with you.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thokoza, it's a beautiful perspective. And, I think we actually don't speak about that often enough. I understand so much that the reason we focus on oppression in quotation marks coming from males to females is because there's a large proportion of that, it's historically based. But I agree so much, and it touches me so deeply how you speak about a large proportion of it also being female to female. So powerful stuff there, very, very powerful stuff. And I appreciate that view so, so much. All right, Mkhulu Sipho, I see you are back. Are you able to speak? If not, I'd also then like to ask Phumuzo to speak as well. But Mkhulu, if you are able to speak, please, you are welcome to do so.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Oh, thanks God, I'm back. Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm worthy of the title Umkhulu, but anyway, I welcome it. Thank you. Good evening, everybody, to the speakers, hosts, co-hosts, and everybody in the space. It's a wonderful space, and I just want to thank you guys for opening this wonderful space. And I know it's such a sensitive topic, but topics does need certain expertise. So yeah, I just want to appreciate you guys and everything that have been said. I'm adding my 2 cents, but I don't even think it's necessary. but I'll just add, and I won't be long. Yeah, so there's a lot that have been said, and I picked it up when I think one of the speakers said something about gender roles. When you go to spirituality, those gender roles. I think I want this maybe for a moment to take this to that perspective when we get to spirituality and understand that part of ourself that is spiritual and that part of ourself that is really who we are. It doesn't have a gender. So these genders that the gender roles that are here, they are more of boxes, little boxes that we as spiritual beings we enter to experience this life thing. And then when we just for a moment go to that part of ourselves that is spiritual, that part of ourselves that doesn't see gender and doesn't see those different roles that we go through, and when we go there and then just try to see through those eyes and see if there is any oppression. Are you being oppressed as the spirit now? So because when we go to these little boxes that we enter in order to experience this life that we experience in the 3D reality, when we enter these boxes, we then have to take these roles that we take. But then I want us to look at it in the lens of to say that we do have a choice. We do have a choice whether to take some of these things. We don't have to take all of the package within that box, because I've seen within our society and within different settings, whether it's tradition or in religion, there are people who are able to transcend those roles and be able to lead, are able to do what someone who is a female, as we know them, they are able to do what we wouldn't think they would be able to do. Like in leadership position, we do have CEOs that are females. Not that they do not regard themselves as females, but they do not take all of these submissions thing that some of our sisters do take in these things. Because when you understand, like I said, I want us to, even though we are looking at this thing as in a human perspective and all of these roles that we partake in human life, but we must also understand, because I understand that the reason why we are having this kind of conversation is because there is part of us that understand that we are more than just a gender role, just a human being that is walking in this earth. We are more than that. So we are spiritual beings. And then when we go to that level doesn't see all those roles. And in that level, that is where we are able to pick and choose what we want to partake on in these things, because we see them as they are, because they are not real. These things are not real. If some of us or some of our women are able to transcend these things and be able to take on those leadership roles in the forefront, not just in behind the scenes, but they are able to lead in the forefront. If they are able to do that, it means that the choice lies within us, whether right now you perceive yourself as a woman or as a man, but the choice lies within us. Because if we, I know the topic is more on women oppression, but I know that even males are being oppressed in different settings. Even males are being oppressed in different settings. When one of the speakers was talking about the fact that when you look at all of these things, patriarchy and all of these things that are happening, you'll see that also women are also more of what gatekeepers of that as well, and they are also perpetuating this thing to go on and on and on, because as the majority, they would be able to say, no, this thing has to stop now. It has to stop now because we are the majority. In every setting, be it a religion, in a church, you'd see that there is a lot of females are always majority in political parties or religious settings, or even in spiritual settings. Women are always the majority. Hence, one of the speakers was saying that they also play a role in keeping themselves oppressed. And I was thinking, hang on, isn't that when we speak about African being oppressed by white, that it's the same thing that is happening? Because you find that some of our fellow brothers are also gatekeepers, are playing the roles of gatekeepers. But I'm not there, I'm just making an example of what is happening. But so my contribution here is just to say that maybe we need to look at it in a lens of spirituality, to look at it in a part where there are no gender roles. And when we look at it, we can just look at, when you look at duality, you are looking at, when people talk about the cause and effect, that's life. But you see that actually, really, the cause is effect. So meaning that it's the same thing. It's just a play of the same life, really. Because for the life to continue, these things have to happen. So, but for yourself or for myself, let me speak for myself, as the spirit, understanding myself, I need to make sure that I'm able to choose. I'm able to look at these things and choose what I want to align myself with, and be able to choose, be it a female or a male. I should be able to choose what I want to allow my life to align with my life with, and to be able to experience life the way I want to experience it. Because there have been questions, as I was listening in the space, questions about really, when we look deeply into these things, what is oppression? Can we name these things that we call oppression? Now, when we go deeper in that, then we get to a point where we say that, okay, actually, it's what we decide. Oppression is what we decide as oppression, meaning that me as an individual, whatever I experience, I get to give meaning to it. I get to meaning to it, to say that it is an oppression. So I can look at it as a victim, or maybe the one who is the perpetrator of this thing. But all I wanted to contribute is that maybe the problem in most of this is the identity of myself as the man. What do I identify with? Because we get to these little boxes and then we identify. Like if I identify myself completely as just a man, then unfortunately, I have to take all of these roles, and then that might also include oppressing my fellow sisters, because now I'm taking all of these things because I identify solely as just being a male, just a male. But being a man is actually more than that, because now when we look at the spiritual part, it's actually what is real is that it's the spirit, and the spirit doesn't have a gender, it doesn't have anything. Actually, all these concepts, it's human concepts that we just take so that we can experience life. So we can just pick and choose these things because they are just our illusion of understanding this self that we are. Let me just end it here. Thank you guys for this wonderful opportunity and this wonderful topic. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I don't know why you say you feel as though you are not deserving of the term umkhulu. However, when you speak, your knowledge in itself, it's not coming from you. It's on a higher plane. It's on a deeper level. So receive it and accept it as it comes your way. And thank you very much for your view on that. Yeah, you've touched some very interesting points there. Once more, just to keep the ball rolling, thank you so much for everyone who's joined. Welcome. If you've joined us only now, please, I would really love to get some female representation within the speakers. However, we are open to the opinions and some of the thoughts that the males have as well. It's really very much appreciated. As we've heard, we've had some great speakers who've shared their views with us on this. Mukula Abram, I see you are back. I will let you speak because I know your connection is fading in and out. So if you are able to speak, you can. And then after you, if we could please have Pumuzo Moyo. You've been trying to also connect with us for quite some time. My co-host, would you like to say something before we give Abram the mic, or did you want to add after?
Hi everyone. Messi Tumi, welcome back. You've been relatively quiet. I got a message from Dr. Malachi at he has to run, but he wants to say thank you for hosting him and for everything else that you guys have done and giving in the platform. I'd also like to thank Wesley Guild SA. We are streaming live on Facebook and on YouTube, which is a great thing. I've shared the link on our timeline, so big ups to the team and everyone else. Out of love to have Mrs. Bridget on board as well. Masitumo. I hope I got it right. Please accept the mic. Yeah, I would love to hear a couple of words from you because you're a very powerful force. I hope you can hear me. Let's go.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that. Yes, and thank you for sharing the word. We really try and build a platform where we can increase our knowledge and open up our minds to everything that that is available and to others' experiences. So thank you for sharing with those that are in your circles. Abram, we can go to you, Mkulu, if you would like and if you're able to speak.
Thokoza Gogo, and once again, angisazi kumele sithi good evening or good morning, but okuyiyo Thokozani. Wanted to make my final submission, but ke ngoba nginaleli dlozi elinesikhwele from 11:45 until 12:15 kuvele kwenzeke nje amahololo. Hey, kuvele kube kubi. But nevertheless, ngicale ngi-answer to respond to the first question that was raised ngokuthi where do we go uma we are being abused ephehlweni. As the THO sikubonile ukuthi the ama-trust are having difficulties during their time of training, and amongst the difficulties that they have are issues of gender-based violence, issues of being sexually harassed by Agobela, Abonyankwabe, and other immediate family members of Ugobela. And then we then said it's very important for us as an organization, especially sitting in an authoritative position, to launch this desk. Let's say launch on 1st of April. We will be launching the first ever LGBTIQA plus communities and GBV help desk, what THO. The reason being, after the story saga Koko Yolanda Tandala, we saw it fit ukuthi the youth within the fraternity is being abused, and they have nowhere to go. If they go to their gobelas, Gobela would brush it off. If it happens to go to Gobela who's raping Itwasa, and then he or she goes to Ulazanan, Ukokomkhulu Wempanze, or someone senior in that Impandileyo, they would say, no, Bofuna, you wanted it. That's why you were flirting with him or you were flirting with her, this and that. So we said we need to create a safe space, because we said as healers, we also against gender-based violence. And then number two, when you talk about oppression, I think it's very wise for us to define it to the extent that we all get to the gist and understand what do we mean when we say we're talking about oppression. For an example, when we talk about oppression in this instance, that women traditional healers are being abused, I would love to use the word yaga koko dibu wankwishisha, wanswaramos, but unfortunately, nah, okay, but we're not there. The issue of oppression comes in three dimensions. The first dimension is financially, and the second dimension is physically, and the third one is emotionally. We're talking about these three aspects because for a healer to be able to heal someone, they go through these three spaces. And it becomes almost impossible for a healer to execute their job fully if they are emotionally imbalanced. So there is a need for us to we break it down. And until as a sector we gain these three dimensions or these three pillars of democracy, it means that we are not only the women but also the LGBTIQ plus. But I also need to confirm my gratitude and to allude the sector for being able to accommodate LGBTIQ plus communities, because we are now seeing most of people coming out after Uktwasa ukuthi no, mina I'm bisex, mina I'm homosexual, mina I'm this, mina I'm that. We need to allude that, because it's a really a good position in a
Have we lost Umkulu? Is it only on my side?
He's inaudible on my side as well.
Yeah, I think we've lost him. Let me just quickly call
yes.
and check up on him.
All right, yes, all right. We seem to have lost him. Yes, his connection really is not on his side at all this evening or morning. It's not on his side at all. All right. Pumuzo Moyo, if you would like to go ahead, feel free. You are welcome to take the mic until we can get Abram back.
Hi, I'd like to say good morning. I've been listening to the speakers. I feel like it's a very interesting topic. Okay, this topic is very triggering. And also, I'm gonna be brief because it's also late. I'm a bit tired. Okay. I just want to raise a few points and stuff. I feel like Gori, as African people or Bantu, I feel like we are lost. I'm gonna speak more based on the men's side. I feel like Gori, yes, I feel like Gori, there's this other burden that has been placed on men that they should lead, especially African men. I feel like Gori, most African men, when it comes to leadership, we are lagging behind. I feel like Gori, leadership doesn't have to be only based on the financial gains only. I feel like spiritually, we can lead our women, we can lead kids, and also with these things of spirituality, it can also be subjective because I feel like uh I've met many women who can lead better than men, but because of men's ego, they think it's not possible. Yes, it is possible. It's not about that because you're a man that you're automatically a leader. I feel like it's something that society it's not ready maybe to talk about or speak about. I feel like in terms of like in terms of spirituality, I feel like one can be defined or as a man or as a woman. I feel like if you are in a position of leadership, I feel like it's more about actions and stuff. I feel like uh, I've seen. I'm gonna give this other example. I'm gonna give an example about Nelson Mandela and Winnie Mandela. I feel like she's a black woman. I feel like in terms of our history, I feel like the way the media painted Winnie Mandela, I feel like that's a big case study that we should study. Winnie Mandela was a very powerful woman in such a way that even when the guy Mandela went to jail, she was the one taking care of her kids and stuff. But the problem is because she was a woman, even if Mandela was in jail, they still regarded Mandela as a hero. That's when you you can tell Ori, okay, this system of patriarchy, man, it's a system invented by white people. Because truly speaking, if we're gonna speak about Winnie Mandela, the reason I'm using Winnie Mandela it's because Ori, I just wanted to involve a bit of politics and a bit of religion to show you that yes, women can lead, but the thing is, there are so many like barriers that they are in front of them. So that's why I'm giving that case study of Umama Winnie Mandela. Because for me, I learn a lot like from women. Because the things I'm the only guy at home. I've got three sisters, so I feel like uh, when I, when like I feel like I can't say women can lead or or whatever. So I'm gonna wrap it up in a sense of saying Ori, I feel like the thing is one, when colonialism came into our country, I feel like they changed many things. They took our land and then they misplaced most of our traditions and stuff in such a way that the black men and the black women got lost. My other problem is one. It's back then I know there were wars. So if there were wars, what they will require men to go and fight, and then women were left behind to take care of the kids and the household. But I feel like the world has advanced and the world has evolved that now women have been leading from the background, but the thing is they want to be in the forefront. I feel like that's where the fight is. Because I feel like if there's war, I'm not saying I'm not gonna get like controversial and stuff, but what I'm trying to say it's one, it's it's if there's wars and there's hard labor jobs, they're still being reserved for men. But I feel like we're now the only thing is one, women's voice it's getting louder and they wanna be also be in the forefront. But I feel like most men they are not ready for that conversation, so they would rather fight, and then hence there's these things of GBV and stuff. But I feel like it's a very interesting dialogue because now we are living in a world where it's not only about hard skills and labor. So I feel like it's okay for men to also have soft skills to read and to do all those other things. But the thing is, are they ready now? Because The problem is one, there's these biased ideas that they have that a man should be out there. But the problem is no, there's no wars. There are no wars. So if there's no wars, the thing is, then where should a man be? So I feel like also as men, we should also question our belief systems. We should also question our thoughts, and we should also be mindful of the times that we are in. Yes, it's not the 1920s. We are in 2022. A lot of things have changed. I'm not saying that there are no wars and stuff. I feel like as men, we can still protect our families. We can still do martial arts, we can still get guns to protect our families. But I feel like for me, I don't think my role is to. I will never fight with my sisters. I know my role. My role is to be there to protect my sisters. Whether I train, I get guns, I educate them, or on the dangers of the world. For me, I know my role. I feel like if you know like your role, I don't think you're gonna be arguing. I feel like uh, so so going back to the topic when you're saying are traditional women oppressed? Also, it was going to be interesting to hear from women who are married like traditionally. Are they oppressed or are they happy? So I feel like I would have loved to hear many views from the women down there. Maybe if they're traditional married or they're not married. It was going to be interesting to hear if they are being oppressed or they're not being oppressed. Because sometimes you might think that they're being oppressed, but actually they're happy because they've got their kids, they're building their families, and they're living from behind. So thank you. I just wanted to close that on that note. So yeah, thank you guys for this engaging topic. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pumuzo, for sharing. As you're speaking, I just wanted to point something out that really I'm appreciative of the fact that every speaker who has come on here has expressed their view and opinion from a place of being calm, from a place of good intention, positivity, from a place of respect. People were not trying to bash another person's opinion or trying to say their opinion is better than the other. So I really appreciate that, because even from yourself, Pumuzo, what you're saying came from a very calm and good spirit, and I like that. I like to feel that lightness that we're discussing such a heavy topic with, because to be honest, it is quite a heavy topic and it is quite triggering. And I mean, just this in itself, and the fact that women are facing what they're facing currently has been in itself termed a pandemic, since we've been using this word pandemic so often. So really, it's good that we're able to share our views from a good place and to be open what each person needs to say. So I really truly appreciate that. All right. So I like the fact that, Pumut also mentioned that it'd be quite great to get a bit of perspective from women who may be in situations where from the outside others may seem as though they are oppressed, and it doesn't even have to be related to marriage. It could even be if you are currently in a religious construct, because I know we had Miss Anderson who also spoke to say that in the church that she's in, she's able to be a leader. So from the outside looking in, we might think she's oppressed, or, that religious construct or religious sect does not allow for women to be in certain positions. However, she was able to come and speak for her own side to say, but no, I'm here and I have a voice in my church. So I would love also to get a bit of more views sort of around that perspective, because it is quite an enlightening one as well. All right. Apart from that, as we have said, we are speaking then about religion and spirituality and the freedom of it as well, and linking that then also to whether within these structures structures women are oppressed, and if we say they are oppressed, in what way? I mean, Umkulo Odwa brought up a couple of questions as well, to say, when we read through the Bible, how come we're not faced with more of these stories of the great things that women have done? We've had views where a few speakers have said, Eve was painted to be this bad person, but at the same time, if you look at it from a different perspective, she had the power to be able to change or persuade or yes, change the direction that the man who was meant to be the leader took in the end. So yeah, I'd love to continue to hear more a little bit around that. I know Usis Nompumelelo spoke quite a lot around that as well, which I appreciated quite a lot. And Ugogo as well, Kehla Umkhulu Hlubi as well spoke around that. So really, I think it's something that it's quite good to hear what others have to say around this, because living in a bubble when we're faced with so much in the spiritual journey, in Africanism, and in the current society that we're facing currently, living in a bubble is only to your own detriment. Yes, I see your hand. You're welcome to speak.
Yeah, I just wanted to reference back to the Bible, to Eve. When the story of Eve is being told, a lot of people always leave out the fact that the Bible says that the husband who was with her, Adam, was there when Eve took the fruit and she handed it to him. He was there, quiet. And it's actually a sign that I'm talking as a married woman. I've been married for a very long time. Most of the men, most of these households, and I know a lot of women actually talked about it, that the women are the ones who are doing everything in their homes, and yet the men get the recognition when it's being recognized with, oh, umzigabani, umziga Sija, Sija is a great man, and yet it's the woman who is behind that. So that is the power that women have. Eve was with Adam, and she took the fruit and ate and gave to Adam, who was with him. And Adam did not say anything. It just shows the power that we have as women. Although that power, as I said before, that it's not being recognized. We are not recognized the role that we play. I think Umkulu Abraham will agree with me on saying when a woman gets married into the family, she brings issues like a lenhlanhla. If a man goes and marry a woman ongelanhlanhla yemali, that man doesn't become successful at all. It's the woman's laws that brings the wealth into that home. It's the woman's womb that will carry abantwa into that home and germinate the seed and carry the seed. So women are very powerful. But why we are saying women are oppressed, it's because our power and our role in the society is not being recognized. We are not acknowledged. And I don't think women want to be the ones who are leading and doing all kinds of things in the war, but we want to be recognized, the role that we play, that it's a powerful role that we have in the society. I know there are men who are saying women cannot go to war and fight. We had women like Olos Gay. Los Gay was a warrior. For those who want, you can Google her, Los Gay Jodlo. And in the history books, it's not written. For those who, I grew up in Zimbabwe, I was born in Zimbabwe. In the history books in Zimbabwe, she would not show up. And yet when Ziligas was gone, Los Gay gave the white men run for their money. And she was a warrior, like literally went to war with her brothers. She led a regiment. So we don't talk about those things. So let's recognize how powerful women are and give them their space in history. Even in the Bible, women have been powerful. You have the Rahab. Rahab is still talked about as a prostitute, and yet Rahab played a role. And Rahab is the great-great-great-great-grandmother of Jesus Christ himself. You look at people like Uriah's wife. We just look at the negative. It's time to recognize the power that women have. We are not asking to be the head of the homes, although technically we are, but we are saying acknowledge us, recognize us, and what? Empower us to be who we are and don't oppress us.
Togoza, very well spoken. Just to keep the ball rolling, I'll throw it right over to Mkulu Abraham, as you were mentioned as well there.
Thokoza gogo. Bukungilile futhi. But as we go listening to point of the tonight's conversation, I gather the sense that that gives validations to the fact ukuthi abantu besimame bawubuchopho kule khanda leli elingenabuchopho. But yeah, asikho lapho. Ngiyabona uhlubikazi yajabula. But okay. That remember, I'm from a sector whereby we are 80% led by women. We are 80% dominant by women. Talking about traditional healing, we are talking about ukulapha kwesintu, of which I think many of the men in this platform tonight were trained by women. And bonisa kwana kokuthi the role of a woman in our lives, it's very enormous. Even as there was a speaker like lokhulumile ngawuthicho kancane ukuthi 80% yes, 80% of our membership it's women, and 80% of our leadership it's women. I believe we all remember that for 30 years we were led by ugogo Pepsile Maseko, who passed on last year on Mhlaga 4. In actual fact, on the 9th, she will be doing her 9 years. Oh, it wasn't 9 years. 1 year. Sorry, 1 year since she has departed the land of the living to join her ancestors. And siyamkhumbula kakhulu sikaThixo because the role that she had played within the sector iyabonakala namhlanje. Because akasekho siyayibona le gap leyana ukuthi hey, this woman was carrying us ngomgogodlo wakhe, and abanye bathi hayi ihlongandlebe ubangumsindo unjani, but she was claiming her space, and we need more women to do that. Esintwini sithi uma uqeda ukwakha umuzi awukabi yikhaya ungakakhi indlu kagogo. Indlu kagogo is the foundation yalowo muzi loyo, bese uyahamba ke uyogana. Ngithi lo masuganile lo gogo uzoxhumana nobani? Uzoxhumana nalo mfazi osumganile. So the life of a man is 90% dependent to this female species, and the men cannot take their own decisions. Even in the churches, abafundisi babangaphambili bashumayele, but at home they are getting the scriptures from the woman. Even in the amakhosi, for instance, it is sebenzise uhlanga lomhlabathi oselikhotheme. She had uNdlunkulu, and then how many queens? 6 queens. All her advices, or all his advices for her her constituency, bekawathatha from these 6 queens. Ukuthi this is what we want. That's why even ekugcineni ashiye igama lokuthi akafuna abantu bakhe balambe akungazilwa kubekwa amageja phansi. Who is farming? It's the women, not the men. So bakade bafuna ukubekwa amageja phansi uthi abomama bangahlali phansi balinde amadoda. But sengiphetha ke naku bese siphethe ukuthi we want to bring new programs kaThixo. Amongst the programs that we have, it's the program women empowerment. But we cannot do that program sense we strip out the thing ends of government way to strip away this gender amandla siwapheleyana. We are not going to do that. We are going to work hand in hand with both genders. or should I say both sexes? Because when you talk about gender, you're talking about something else, but when you talk about sex, you're talking about something else. Let's say both sexes, so that we could say we want to empower abelaphi bendabuko going forward, so that when the time comes, they all say we were once empowered. We are who we are because of uTHO. Asafuna ukuthi masihleli thina sibuka ukuthi sibuya kuphi ngomsebenzi wethu in the empowerment space, bese sithi thina siyakhomba, bese nina emuva aniboni. Because we go with a say that says you need to work hard in silence, and then you let your work to speak for itself. And without doing that, it means that we are not entirely doing nothing. Hence, I said it is important for you guys to utilize the space, and then you claim your positions as women, as members of the sector, and going forward, akbongwe. And I think this is my cue to leave Gogo Kitu and the team, because hey, angisafuna ukushaya mina lo gogo. You know, ngathwasa idlozi lomfazi, unfortunately. So kakhulu bangibiza gogo Nqobizitha. Angifuni gogo Nqobizitha phezu kwami. So ngiyabonga. Thokozani.
Togoza, no, it's completely fine. Thank you so much for sharing, as always, a broad knowledge that you bring about to the space that we have here. So thank you so much, as always, for sharing with us. Actually, ideally, we would like to close the space at 1 o'clock. So if there's anyone who'd like to put in some closing comments to wrap it up for us, then you are more than cool. I see you laughing at me there. Yeah, usually we sleep at 2, 3 o'clock because of these spaces. So today we're trying to behave. So if you'd like to put in some... cool?
2, 3 o'clock is still some early. I've seen 6 o'clock, eh?
Yeah, that's true, actually. Just the other day, it was 5:30. So, no, we can't do that. We can't do that this morning. So if there are any last comments that anyone would like to bring in or bring to the floor, we can do so now. But as I said, ideally we'd like to close at 1 o'clock. So it really will be just to wrap up everything that we've spoken about this evening. Mr. Pumuzo Moyo, I see you do have your hand up. So you're welcome to go, and then we will have our co-host Umkhulu Odwa.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Yeah, even for me, I feel like it's a bit late, so I just wanna wrap up with just a few words. I just feel like Ori, I've been listening to you guys. You brought in a very interesting topic. My thing is just going forward. I feel like Ori, it's okay to question our beliefs. It's okay to question our thoughts. It's okay to question our religion. I feel like the more we question things, and then the more we kind of come into this kind of spaces, that's where we can get a consensus, and then we can tell what works for different people. Obviously, what works for me might not work for you, but I feel like the key it's in questioning everything, whether it's your feelings, it's your thoughts, it's your religions, it's traditions. Everything has to be questioned. If you need to speak to your ancestors, you're more than welcome to. But I feel like the more you question things, the more you get answers. So that's my closing remarks. Thank you for opening the space at Kitu and your co-host. Thank you, guys.
Lovely. Thank you so much. Thank you for those closing words. Kulu Odwa, you're welcome to wrap it up for us.
Camakundlondlo, camakuba omkhulu nogogo, bomozone zehlabathi, bantwana bomveli nqange. Ndiyabulela ngongazenzisiyo to everyone that ebekhona and graced out with their presence. Abuthi Siphiwe, Mkhulu Abraham, Sisinompumelelo, Sis Bridget. Special thanks to Wesley Guild SA for staying with us for the past 2 hours and streaming live our space. And we hope to engage more with you guys. It really means a lot, and we humbly say thank you. And Siskitu, for taking your time and being with us. You have to juggle between home and spaces, and to be honest, I really appreciate the fact that you always take time to make time for us and be a great host and everything else. Chef Magwande and Namkulu, and everyone else. I'd love us to, it's unfortunate that we're closing now, but for the next 68 seconds, I'd like to say this, that let us protect our sisters, from arranged marriages. Actually, let me just say for Otwalo, because it's still happening, and it's said that ingane ena 10 or 12 or 15 uyoshatiswa kwindoda ena 70 or 50, whatever, and then the great Otwala, which is, constituting to rape, but it's not spoken about because it's tradition, and it's said which these women, but when you saw these closer regalias and being given names, and at the young age she can't even go to school, she can't do nothing. All she does is stay at home, wait for the man who's in Cape Town or Durban, wherever, and the men will just come sleep with her, give her AIDS or kids, whatever it is. We really need to find a way to protect our little sisters, who go through this thing, and it's something that we should not ignore. Women are not an incubator for damaged souls or anything. Women are meant to be loved as well, and we really need to find a way and find it in our hearts and spirits and souls to give us strength to really protect you guys. Auskiti knows I call her our queen for a reason, because whenever she speaks, it's sense all the way, and I look forward to more engagements with you, Nkosazana. Unfortunately, Cocta, I forgot to mention, couldn't be with us today. They didn't respond to emails and everything else, yet they received them. But those that are with us, it means a lot, guys. Magwande, and let us go from strength to strength. Let us not shy away from what we believe in and what we stand for and what we stand against. Mkul Abraham, in fact, I know you were tired. You had a long day today, and you still stayed with us until this late. Ugogo angakushayi. Ngicela ukuthi ngixeke ugogo. Siyabonga kakhulu mkhulu wethu. It means a lot that you're always with us, and everyone else and Cecilia and Donovan, always been with us each and every day. It means a lot. I have to acknowledge you guys, and Nicole, I haven't forgotten you guys. Thank you so much for being in Bogota. In the ngicela sibe inyanda enye, because once saba inyanda enye, nothing will break you apart. But if you separate yourself from the head, you get lost. So mangibonge, Magwande, kuvuleke lapho kuvaleke khona ukuthi abathakathi noma bethi bacane basibona kodwa ababoni sikwenzani, sikhule ngomoya. And I said throughout this space, not feeling well, but I couldn't let my guys down, because it's too much love. But yeah, I don't know, as we started with an opening prayer, to be nice to close it up with the prayer, and I would have loved Sister Bridget to do that for us. We've been trying to get her to take a mic, but she's just been, I don't know if she's having network problems or if Auskitu, that's me, and remember those words that women are powerful and we should not sexualize them, but we should protect them.
Tamak Mkulu, thank you so much for those closing words. Really, it just wrapped up the whole conversation that we've had this evening since 9 o'clock so perfectly. And really, I'm sure I echo so many people's sentiments to also thank you for always being on the ball, especially when it comes to these brilliant topics that you bring to the forefront, and really for allowing for the platform for African spiritualists and people who are interested in the spiritual journey to be able to come and share their views, to learn and to grow as individuals as well. So really, we thank you as well for affording us this opportunity to be able to speak to each other. Thank you very much, Mkulu Togoza Kamangu. We appreciate you very much. All right. So, Sis Bridget, I'm not sure. Are you going to close for us in prayer? I've also asked Masetumu, I believe. I know you also spoke slightly earlier on. I've asked you to take the mic as well to close for us. If not, then I can also do so. I really don't mind. So any of the two ladies, if they would like to, are welcome to. If not, I can close for us. Not. All right, that's fine. So I'm going to keep it very short. There's 2 minutes to go till our 1 o'clock deadline. Not that it's a hard deadline, but I'd like for us to respect the time that we've given ourselves. So I will keep it quite short. Can we please close our eyes and pray? Modimo ntate, Modimo mora, Modimo na re tla re ikokobeditse. Modimo re rata ho leboha ka sebaka sena seo re fileng sona Modimo, hore ha re le bana ba hao re kgone ho kopana and share the views that we have. Modimo wa ka a matla, Modimo ra o leboha because we know you have said where the 2 or 3 are gathered, you will be there. And we appreciate the fact that even in these spaces that we have opened in order to engage with each other, your spirit is here and you allow for us to be able to speak from a place of good intention and from a place of light. Modimo ke a o leboha because ke a tseba ka nako tse ngata e dula e le wena a re hlokometseng, e dula le wena a re fang matla Modimo, a re kgone ho bua nnete e fuweng e re tsebang re fuwe ke wena Modimo ka matla. Modimo ya halalelang, ra o leboha ka nako tsohle hobane ra tseba Modimo ke ka matla a hao, ke ka mohau wa hao, ke ka mosa wa hao ha re kgona hore re nne re kopane Modimo, re tsebe hore le ha re share our views in this way Modimo, we are sharing the light that has come from you. And we know, dear Lord, that at all times you will continue to lead us, and not only lead us in conversation, but lead us in continuing to light the path for those that will come after us, for those who will continue to listen to the spaces and be able to hear not only the goodness that you have allowed to be in this world, but also the experiences of your people and your kids that you have put onto this world to share, my Lord, the love and the light that you have brought about. Modimo ha re lo robala ke kopa ebe wena ya tsamayang le rona, ke kopa ebe kganya e tsamayang le rona, mohau wa hao o no tswele pele o re tshireletse ka nako tsohle. In your holy name I pray this. Ka lebitso la hao ntate le matla, ka lebitso la ntate, ka lebitso la mora, ka lebitso la moya o halelelang ke rapela. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much. Thank you for staying also for the prayer, those who did stay. But yes, we will meet again. We will try and send out, invites. If you would like to personally be invited to spaces that we have, you're welcome to also send either myself or one of our co-hosts a DM just to ask to be included when we share the link for the spaces that we'll have coming up. But thank you so much, everyone. Sleep well. Love and light at all times. Mwah. I love you guys. See you at the next one.
I'll skip you 2 seconds before you go. We forgot to pray for Chef to find a wife. It's about time. February is around the corner. He can't be cooking for himself.
No, bad. Don't
yeah,
start.
so Alcija, Nicole, please, and Nopumelo, please send through your CVs. Contract ends on the 15th of Feb.
Yes, chef's wife can find him.
And the host.
What? I'm just talking up. Dude, you can't be buying roses and chocolate for yourself. Come on. Nicole, are you willing to share candlelight dinner? Because it's got something planned for the 14th for all of us here. But yeah, please avail yourself, right?
Badu.
Bridget, please pray for him to get a wife. It's about time. I'm sorry. I just said to get it out there. You know, it's sad to see my brother single. You know, imagine.
Chef, they'll GM
I
you.
like
They'll GM
I
you.
like I like how this